red, blue, purple light. Friends, red, blue, purple light. Friends, facts, red, blue, purple light. Friends, red and blue, purple light. Friends, facts, you can get to know the ledger, sacrilegious Sunday to melanin Monday. You can get to know the ledger, my love. Just open your third eye on Thursday. Lord, the food, the art, the clothes, the Vatican's getting exposed fast. We put the show on the road, you better stay on your toes. I was till the land focused on the ego. Then I opened my heart, let go of the ego. Grand after grand, we stacking up these C notes. Facts, facts, yeah, we gon' put this shit on our backs. Facts, facts, we in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts, peace, love and light. Peace, love to the family. Peace, love and light to the family. Peace, love and light to the family.
These days and time, black man, is going to be the time that you have been waiting for. You came here for a reason. Whatever pressure, whatever adversity, whatever the fuck you feel, I don't know what you feel, but whatever you may be feeling is going to push you, and it's going to provoke you, and it's either going to make you or break you, similar to how pressure busts pipes or the shit makes diamonds.
Oh, peace, love, and light, y'all. My bad. What's good with the family? It's your brother Blue, reporting live and direct. Back with another one. All right. Give me a sec. I'm going to get my thing together. All right. And allow the family, this is an impromptu broadcast. So with all due respect, I'm going to give, the family their necessary due time to get your thing together. Let me know if you hear me in the chat, please, family. All right. Let me know if we good. And yes, thank you. Again, salute and salutations to all of you on this beautiful Tuesday. Shout out to the Virgos. We are in Virgo season. I'm on a Virgo countdown. My baby's born day is tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So I am, these are high times right now, emotionally. So shout out to the Virgos in the building. All right. Take this little do-rag off. I got my hair done. So give me 1 second, y'all. Sound check, yes. Whole lot going on. Whole lot going on in the world, y'all. Right? Whole lot going on in the world right now. And of course, as the pillars, we're gonna do everything in our ability and our powers to help navigate you and steer you through this very tumultuous, trying, and sometimes tricky times that we live in, and I only say that because I remember I had did a lecture in December leading into the new year, and they were asking me, you know, what the theme was for this year. And I said spiritual discernment, you know. And the reason that I said spiritual discernment is because you can no longer trust your physical eyes. You can no longer trust physicality. The physical world has been compromised. Not just because of the advent of of AI and deep fakes and things of that nature. You know what I mean? We no longer even live in a realm where we're allowed the autonomy to our own thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta ask somebody before I say something. I gotta think about something 5 to 10 times before I even are are convinced that it's my thought. You feel me? Yeah, shout out to Pope Pablo. Um and it's not so much talking codes. Like I get into character when I'm Pope Pablo, I'm Pope Pablo. When I don't have the robe on, I'm not Pope Pablo, right? And that doesn't mean that you can't make a reference to it. It means that it's a different entity. And when I get in that bag, I'm in full character. You know what I'm saying? And to navigate and move through these things that we're going through, I'm not just saying I'm going through it. I could say I because some of us are feeling the heat. Some of us are feeling the the dragnet getting a little bit tighter, right? So in order for my cosmic covering, yes, I have to show up in character as Pope Pablo in this particular environment to have the discussions that I need to have. Now, how did I know that it would lead to this? For me to have already created a character that I can be in the public speaking about religion, right? Battling the things that are being said about you guys, right? Battling the things that are being said about, let's say, us as a people, right? A lot of that has to be combated and pushed back against from a liturgical, theological perspective because they're putting you in game. And the game that you're putting you in they've utilized this game on many occasions. It's called the Bible. And their ability to manipulate those words for them to benefit them specifically because they have a clear agenda and you don't as a people, right? Puts us in this precarious place. And this is why I created Pope Pablo, right? To have a conversation with my people that did not know that their jubilee happened in 2019, but they running around here talking about they Christians. And I'm like, it's the goofiest, most dangerous shit ever for y'all to be saying that you're these people and you don't know the time or the space that you exist in as those people. You got your freedom papers, you got your walking papers, you got your jubilee. You're not slaves anymore. The curse has been lifted. And there's no way that I can openly express that to my people. And, you know, um, I started seeing clips on Monday of preachers in the church finally preaching, right? And I didn't grow up in the church, but I grew up um seeing and hearing about black preachers who see I can't even it's like even certain words I cannot even comfortably use anymore because of the climate that we're in, right? They were aggressive. I will say that. I won't use the R word. I would say that they were standing on business. I would say that, they spoke to our people from a perspective where the Christ energy was the energy of a warrior, right? And they had that warrior spirit in them. And they was moving with the word and the word was moving through them. You know what I'm saying? I put on that robe and I acknowledge the nanas and the prophetess and the women amongst us, right? I had went to an event on Sunday after I did my sermon. I did my sermon early because I had to cover an event. And the event that I went to, it was a business event here in Atlanta, and it was held by businesswomen in Atlanta. And these business women is not your typical business women. You know what I'm saying? These is ex strippers, you know, these are shorty that might be on OnlyFans, right? And the majority of them make up the contingency of the viewership of Love and Hip Hop, because the person that was throwing the event was a Love and Hip Hop star, Sierra. Now, because my wife watches these programs, I know who these particular people are. I know these characters are, and of course, I'm human, so I've been, I always speak about judge ye not, right? And I speak about the fallacies of judgment and why we should not fall into the prison of judgment. But I have judged books by their covers. So I've looked at these women on TV and, you know, they're ratchets, they're this, they're that. But I'm telling you, I went to this event on Sunday and it was amazing. And yeah, it was a BBL convention, but these women is about their business and they're willing to listen. And they got into that venue and they sat in their seats and they had pen and pad and they dressed in their Sunday best, not like they was going to church, not like they was going to the strip club. They were dressing like they was going to work on Monday morning, right? And they were so interested in the information that this sister had to, because she brought professionals up, and all of the professionals for the most part were speaking about the back office of business, the administration, right? And as melanated people, we're missing out on the back office. The back office business is everything. They say that we have the curse of ham, so we are a hamstrung people. So what do? We skip leg day and we don't pay no attention to the hamstrings. But them hamstrings is what you're going to utilize and need if you have to develop legs for leadership. So all of the skipping of leg days, figuratively and literally, right, has put us in a predicament where we don't have legs for leadership. And when it's time to get up and move, we're incapable of doing such. And when it's time to scale, we're incapable of doing such, right? And this can be broken down into the figurative scaling and going up the mountain, right? Business is the same way, right? We're preparing you for many and plenty of things, you know. What is this? Sorry, I'm getting spammed. So yeah, business is same way. And I was saying that to say that they opened up the procession that this young lady put in place with these beautiful melanated business women of Atlanta, right? Not your typical business women of Atlanta. Feel me? These would be the ones that they consider to be ratchet. But again, I saw them operate in the capacity where they have the ability to change clothes and switch up when they need to for the right situations. And they showed up. You know what I'm saying? They showed up. They showed up and they showed out. What had happened is, though, she opened the procession with her preacher, a lady, her name was Pastor Beverly. And Pastor Beverly caught the Holy Ghost, and she was a prophetess, right? Now, I speak about prophetess, I speak about diviners and soothsayers a lot in my sermons because a lot of that stuff is in the Old Testament, right? And I speak about the prophetesses, I speak about the soothsayers once again, because the Bible is replete with them. All through the Bible, they speak about them. And I bore witness to them on many occasions in my physical life. Shout out to my brother Dick Gregory. He would introduce me to a lady called a prophetess. I had heard about her before I met her. Then I seen her do her thing online and I had an opportunity to meet her. But then I seen this lady at the venue. Yes, these are remnants of what's called the Sibyl. Shout out to Vicky Dillard. So I never closed the door on Christianity simply because that's where a lot of the coveted members of our community still exist. You know what I'm saying? And I don't necessarily hold it to their fault that that's where they found themselves, right? Because they made the best of the circumstance. They're still doing the work of the Sibyls. So this lady started prophesizing in the venue on people that was right in the venue. Oh, God told me I got a message for you, and it was this. And people could say, oh, that they freestyling. And I'm like, no, she was hitting the mark because the people that she was speaking to, they were receiving the message like it was theirs. Yes, they're undercover in the church. In our community, we would call them channelers. We would call that a download. And we wouldn't think twice about it. In their community, look, this lady was catching tongues. She was catching downloads and speaking directly to people. You know what I'm saying? Putting messages on them, right? She was rebuking Satan in the building because they something, you know, they had to get your hand out of my pocket moment that threatened to disrupt the energy in the place. I mean, it was a dope demonstration. And I seen all the women get up and they was talking about Jesus and the ratchets, you know, and it's not a surprise to me. We ran the experiment in Harlem where you found out that all of the you know, all of the real niggas, all of the thugs, all of the, you know, they was YNs at that time. We had put 3 pictures up on the wall, and it was Jesus, white Jesus, Malcolm X, and Marcus Garvey, and we asked them, you know, who was their guy, and a majority of them said white Jesus. So the Jesus pieces is just not decorations. Like these niggas really believe in white Jesus. They're really indoctrinated in religion. Christianity believe in white Jesus, black folk, even in the South, you know. But these are our people at the end of the day. And as I can see, you know, with this fallout after the CK incident last week, our people is confused as fuck. They don't know what's going on in the world. They don't know who they are. They don't know who they should. They just don't know. They just don't know. You know what I'm saying? But in the midst of it, you know, we're all sharing space. We're all here. You feel me? So we have an amazing show for you lined up this afternoon. It's gonna be a continuum of an amazing show that we did on this program. I think it's going on 2 weeks now. And that show was dealing with the blood moon. And a lot of what we're bearing witness to and seeing is results of the blood moon. So we're back in the building speaking about the blood moon as a follow-up. You guys requested it, and here we go. All right. So I am momentarily awaiting my guest. He'll be here in a second. Right. And again, maybe y'all can help me with this because I'm bearing my soul, right? And I don't have all of the answers. And even if what I do in public may come across and seem as performative, my nigga, I'm working through it to figure some shit out in real time. And it's an effective method. Like I fucks with Pope Pablo. You know what I'm saying? I when I be in my preacher bag, I be preaching. I study religion. It's not like I'm freestyling. I'm an ordained minister. It's not like I don't have the actual certifications for this shit. You know what I'm saying? I just don't necessarily quote unquote believe as my people believe. You know what I mean? But I also want to meet them where they're at because where I want to go, I don't want to go without them. You know what I'm saying? And I love on my people strong, and my love for my people is intense. But damn, the things that I'm seeing is breaking my heart. You know what I mean? And for the strength that I have always bore witness to dealing with melanated women in the church, when they sing, when they prophesize, right? The adamant nature of the fact that some of the strongest women that I have seen in my family, holding family dynamics together, they leaned on Christianity. Now, I don't know if that was their strength in their rock, but that's where that was the parameters that they utilized to keep their morality together. I never saw these women lose their morality in the midst of the jungle, in the midst of the hell that we lived in. You feel me? So it led me to say, yo, don't knock it. You know what I'm saying? You may not fully understand it. It might not be your thing per se, but somebody else is doing it. It's working for them, right? Have enough respect to find out what's going on before you sit up there with the peanut gallery, right? And just be castigating people for their indoctrination or their lifestyle, especially when some of them have figured out a way to make it work for them, right? But here we find ourselves at the cusp of a very divisive political storm, dealing with what you believe, right? Why you believe it, and your ability to defend what you believe. You know what I'm saying? Your ability to defend what you believe. That's where we're at right now. Right? That's where we're at right now. Where it's no longer they're gonna criminalize. It's you can't even say, yeah, like, yeah, I don't fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all on that over there. I don't deal with that. Right? They're making it very tricky. Okay. But that's why we're here. That's why we're having these conversations. Once again, these are dialogues. You know, I don't want to be in a position where I'm ever speaking at you. I want to speak to you. I'm willing to learn from you as well. I'm not closed-minded to the fact that there could be, you know, anybody in the audience that has the ability to teach. You know what I mean? And it's something that we can, you know, give us something that we can feel. Okay. So with no further ado, I want to present to you, right, for part 2, my brother, your brother, our good brother, Dimensional Tigerr.
Peace, family. Peace.
Peace,
We
God.
here. We in the building, as they say.
Yeah, man.
We outside.
At the same time, right?
I
had a soul bearing moment with the people. You know, my willingness to be open and transparent. You know, these are very definitional times. These are, and what I mean, I'm not creating a word, but a definitional time is a time that can define an era, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we came here on the first show and we were speaking about fake time and artificial time, right? And we were speaking about real time. In real time, even though it can be measured as a metric, meaning that, like, I could say, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. It's 12:34.
Exactly.
And I could say, right. So our inclination to recognize real time is more about the codes, is more about the tones of time, because time has a pulse, time has a vibration. When I look at my phone randomly and it's 1:44, that's not random as much as it is a frequency. It's a tone, right? And as you say, you call it
Echoes.
Echoes.
Yeah.
What a beautiful way to summarize a phenomenon, right? That science can't necessarily explain. So we are in a echo of time. You know, the show that we did, our first one, it has echoed through the resonance in the mentals of people because they remember what was said and they seen what happened. They seen what was done, right? They can gather and gain evidence that, you know, these things are connected, and the ability to get before a thing and give people a warning, right? A preponderance, a preparation, right?
We call it precognition. It's
Precognition for them to at least be alert enough to hear the echo, right?
Pay attention.
That's an amazing thing. You feel me? So I want to honor you for your tactical wisdom. I want to honor you for having the obedience to listen to the echo, because our show was pre-planned. You were intentional about saying we need to do this and we need to do this now.
Yeah,
And
yeah. A little pressure, slight pressure, because Blue was like, I don't do this. I don't move like that. And
I'm
I'm
talking
like,
about the
you
first
got to
one.
move. Yeah, this one too. This one more so. But I'm not gonna put you out there
Don't
like
be
that,
that, bro.
because you know.
Don't be like that, bro. But I mean, no. Again, y'all, it's beautiful, and we have an opportunity to speak about it. Shout out to my brother King Simon. I seen him just tapped in the building as well. And
Peace, King.
there's such a thing, right? The science is investigating right now called time crystals, right? And in order for them to imply that there's a time crystal, then we have to admit that time has pressure attached to it, right? So when we speak about time in different respects, in different pockets, then I might say, oh, I don't want to do the last minute thing because it wrecks my central nervous system. My parasympathetic nervous system doesn't operate as much with last minute things, but that's because I have been ordained and trained to operate in that fashion. So this is me attempting to do something that I always do, but I don't want to, I want to change doing that. But sometimes you might be locked in and crystallized to your crystal. I do amazing things at the last minute, right? Some of the most amazing things that I have done have been last minute things. There's an uneasiness that goes with it, though. I feel it in my intestines these days, again, because it's attached to my nervous system. And we are moving into endeavors that I feel we don't have we can't fail, right?
You cannot fail.
Right.
I want to
So
speak about that.
yes. So that that is my genuine intention. You feel me? That we can't fail. So one is led to believe that the more that you prepare, it mitigates the ability, or it minimizes failure. So I've been overemphasizing, that I want to get more structure in my life, more Saturnian, you know what I'm saying? And just schedule things and be a little bit more prepared, have a window, you know, this in front of me, where I'm not always just doing the last minute thing. But as well, I also want to say that they say that the most high exists in the impromptu, right?
In between the
In the
breaths, right?
impromptu, right? In between
Right.
breaths. So sometimes the things that you're doing impromptu, sometimes the things that you are forced to do in terms of improv, sometimes the things that are not necessarily scheduled and prepared for, this is where you really get to find yourself. You know what I'm saying? And the power of the freestyle, that's where you can find the evidence of the most high at all times. And with that being said, I don't want to get into a drawn out monologue. I want to say thank you for joining us again. It's an honor to see your face. It's an honor to be
I'm
in the
bright.
grace of your
I'm bright.
wisdom. And I'm
I'm on
excited.
1.2 million, B. I'm on 1.2 million today, B. You see the difference?
Okay. I do. Yes. It was I ain't got to tell you to put the light on. You shining.
Nah, it's a beautiful thing, and I want to share, what's going on with that. But I want to first shout out Chief Elder H. Castell in Brooklyn. He's at the school right now, and there'll be an opportunity for you guys to meet and greet at the end of this presentation. But first and foremost, I want to say again, first and foremost, there must be mutual understanding. Out of that understanding, we seek to establish trust and respect. Thus, we say to each other, yours in faith, and the response is in a lot of truth. What this means is that I'm trusting in that you are who you say you are. And the response in a lot of truth is absolutely I am. Right?
Yes.
Come from your heart, follow the guidance of your inner mind. We can get into the definitions later. Come from your heart, follow the guidance of your inner mind. Let the light of truth be our guide as we relate to one another. Then we can therefore say, the ground that we touch, the space that we train, work, or live in, becomes sacred as long as we come and go with the best of intentions. In the light of peace, let justice abound. And for those who didn't catch the first show, my son is 26. It's my third seed. I have two older daughters. And he's named Justice because of that. That's how long it's been in my resonance, in my DNA. And shout out also to him and my grandson, Ame, who'll be turning 8 in April. So I got to catch him right now because there's knowledge that we need to have. And I may be able to pull that up, but I'll pull it up at another time. It's where we need to know what they're on. When I say they, I mean the adversary, whoever fits that definition. Anyone who is adversary, whatever fits that definition, because that is a definition of quote unquote Satan, right? Which has been codified as the man with the horns and red and this and that. But the reality of it is, it means adversarial to the natural process of things. So anything that's adversarial is satanic in my book.
I wholeheartedly agree. And that's why also it's painting my heart. Now, you know, the regular layman, what you would expect them to know, you know, is somewhat limited because they just with the rigmarole. They're just outside. They doing whatever. But I'm hearing from people that are amongst, you know, my ilk. And when I'm saying that's like thought leaders, people that speak up, you know, in front of the people, for the people that are podcasting, conscious folk. They're saying, man, I'm just now hearing about CK. And I'm like, nigga, this is the shit that's hurting my heart. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, so you never studied Project 2025. Oh, so you never studied the election? Oh, you don't know who the cast of characters are? Or you just outside free? Oh, nigga, you out here lost. You don't, but you got time for, but you don't know who the players are on the board?
It's gonna hit them hard.
But you outside playing.
This is just the trailer. It's gonna hit them hard. But at the end of the day, also, we have the opportunity to set our own board up. There's things that we've seen. I know you saw that joint in Georgia where they grabbed, like, I think it was 70 families.
I don't pay attention to none of that shit. Respectfully, they running old articles that came out of Georgia. You know, every year they do that in Georgia. Yeah, there's 50 families that went and bought this amount of acres. Don't believe it until you see it and it's fully developed. I was part of 2 of those programs where the people out here got booked. Right? 2 elaborate programs where they got booked. And I can start naming names, but I'm not. But yeah, I went down to in 2020, we went down to Toonsboro, right, to look at the first land that went viral when they said X amount of people, right? And I was part of those initial marketing initiatives, if you will, to get people involved. But yeah,
interesting. Because at the end of the day, it's required to be, as Elder said, as Elder and I speak, we've been speaking for 30 years about what's required. And first and foremost, you have to be autonomous. You need them for nothing, because this is how they get you to contract with them. I heard you saying certain things about civics when I told you I listened to that cut that I thought you put up today. But at the end of the day, the knowledge is exact. I gotta shut up these phones, my bad. Right? So being autonomous and being able to defend that position without being dragged in. I have another skill set also, as you all know, which is civics. So even if you don't want to use the word sovereign because they've corrupted it with sovereign citizen, right? Which is an oxymoron. So autonomous, autochthonous, which means indigenous to the land, those things are viable, and I've tapped them out. They do not mess with me, but that's not something to speak here in the public, because public and private do not mix, right? So we're touching a little bit on this for now. We're gonna segue off of it for a second, in a second. But you want to be able to be self-sufficient, and you have to be able to contract with their property, which is everybody else that does not have knowledge of self in this realm, because that will drag everybody back into the jurisdiction through something called minimum contacts. So that's how they breach you right back in. Oh, you had this person coming over to your gig, but that's a U.S. citizen. But people must understand that you are not a U.S. citizen all the time. I'm not telling you to give up your citizenship. It is a value, it's an asset. Forget
Right.
about the expatriation thing. For me personally, no. You don't want to be a stateless person. You want to be able to claim, a state. It's different from the United States because this is different. That's 14th Amendment citizen. I'm talking quickly and glancing over things because I know your audience is very competent and well read. So they probably have been exposed, especially through you being, in your cipher, been exposed to these things. So I'm just saying all of those things are correct, and they will come to the table very quickly within the next 2 years. You will have to show competence. And I know because I'm ready to show you our timelines right now. As they say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So that's what we're going to work with a little bit as we go further into how we are preparing. But at the same time, I want to talk about what you said about freestyling. So the system of martial arts that I learned started with Alan Lee's Chinese Kung Fu. But I'm going to introduce y'all to my elder, Chief Elder H. Castell, who is one of only 3, really 4. Shout out Glenn Johnson. But I have receipts to show who we are and what we're holding and what we've developed. So Chief Elder has developed Skra Lefem. So CMC is a child, an offspring of Warriors of the Sun Fighting Arts, Skra Lefem method. What does that stand for? It stands for Skra first. First, it was just Skra method, which stood for spontaneous, creative, rhythmic adaptation. That means that when people used to come at me and say, "Oh, you a fighter? You this, you that? Or what you gonna do if I come and I punch you like this?" And yeah. People,
Oh yeah,
the haters in this world, bro. The haters are real. So yeah, man. And it was that particular time was a very interesting time. I was at a shop because I do cars heavy back in the day. So I was at a friend's shop on Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, and my boy Richie, shout out Richie, my peoples that got me into Porsches, right? Because Richie used to run things with his Porsche. He had a white 944 Turbo. They used to run things uptown. Anyway, and that's why I ended up getting a white and a black one at the same time. Inspiration from Richie, right? Shout out Sophia, Justice's mom, shout out Sophia, Sophie, because Sophie broke her cherry on that black Porsche that I built. When I say that, on Brooklyn Bridge, when I told her, don't shift. Because I told her, I told her how to drive.
Porsche, you said?
I built, yeah. I built many. That's another side of me. But I built a 944 Porsche. It had a blown head gasket. So I rebuilt the motor, ported the heads, bigger turbo, more boost. And Sophie was driving that day, coming back from JNR Music World. The side on the bridge.
Yeah.
There's 2 sides to the bridge, right? Yes. So we're coming from the JNR side. And that's like a increasing radius ramp to come around onto the bridge. So she's in second gear, and that was the moment I said, "Don't shift!" I screamed on her. I said, "Don't shift, Floyd!" And she's in the middle of the turn, and she's just like floored it, and the car was built. I built it, so it revved up to like 7, almost 8,000 RPM, and I said, "Shift!" So she shift third gear. She screamed. She's like, "Ah!" The adrenaline rush was crazy. So now we came off the curve and we hit the bridge at like a $120 after she shifted third because the car was fairly fast, right?
Yeah.
$120, she got on the bridge, shifted third, bam, and got on the straight, and it was a wrap. From then on, she's fearless. I don't want to tell her story. I'll tell you afterwards because she dated a cat and she tried to hide it for a couple of days after we were through. The cat had a fast Subaru, and she played the demure female. But she sold him. I could drive stick. And she said, the like third date or whatever, he says, "You want to drive?" And she's like, "Yeah." She told me I hadn't driven in a while. You know, she had the brother hanging onto the strap, talking about, "Who taught you? What are you doing?" Anyway, those are the story. Those are the days. So getting back to what I was saying, right? SCRA method, spontaneous, creative, rhythmic adaptation.
Yes.
When the brother asked me at the shop, I was actually teaching Richie how to throw a proper hook because he was throwing some sloppy hook, and I was like, in Chinese Kung Fu, they call it buffalo horn. That's your fourth punch. We have it broken down into 13s. Every elder's broken everything down into 13s for a reason. This is the method, which allows you to learn it very fast. You don't need 25 years. You can assimilate. Like I have Tai Chi. I have different things that I learned quickly because he broke it down into 13s. The forms, everything. 13 punches, 13 kicks, 13 guards, 13 stances. Everything is 13s. And then when you become a part of Warriors of the Sun Fighting Arts, you will understand why, right?
Yes.
It's genius. He is a genius. All right. So I'm showing my man how to throw the buffalo horn correctly. And then some cat, you know, it's always some hater talking about, "Oh, so you a fighter, you a teacher. What if I throw this, you know, what you gonna do?" And I was like, "I don't know. Why don't you throw it and find out?" And it wasn't me, it was reality. In the moment, you don't know if my left foot is at a different angle. It's not a patented, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be spontaneous. So he threw, and I wrapped him, and I slipped it. I went under it, and I cranked him. Right? So now he's like, oh, can you teach my son? He went from hater to fan in like 0 to 60, in 0 to 100, like real quick. Now, I'm sitting in the car outside like an hour later with Richie, and I see dude on the sidewalk in front of the shop talking about, "Yo, that dude in there, he a black belt. That dude." So our people need clarity and guidance because there's so many, unfortunately, fake people that say they can, but it's really about something else. And we have to show and prove so people can know the difference. And it has to be done quickly. That's why this was pressure, because pressure busts pipes, so pressure makes diamonds, right? And you talked about the crystal. I like that because that's piezoelectric energy.
Yes.
Right?
Physio,
that releases electricity under pressure.
Physio, yes.
Well, I'm from back in the days when we used to throw block parties, and that was the piezoelectric tweeters. Remember those?
Okay.
Yeah, the old school still has some things to bring to the table. You feel me?
And I be learning, you know. You're my OG, so I don't know if you seen Dame this morning on Breakfast Club. Whole nother story. All right.
I have to see that. Shout out Madison, who used to work for Dame. My I don't know what to say at this point, but shout out to you, Maddie. All right. So
yes,
where do we go from here? What would you like to do next, sir?
Real quick before.
Oh yeah, the chat. Last time I didn't know there was a chat going on. I need to look and see what's going on with the chat.
The chat is active, and just because you brought up the concept,
great,
martial arts, they definitely want to know what's your idea or thought process between martial arts against MMA or street fighters.
Well, that's two different things. Let's be clear. So we can address both, right? Yeah, MMA is sport combat. You know, they're training for the ring, a nice, soft, cushy ring. And street fighter mean I may smash your head against the side of this building or whatever. There are two different things there. All right. So let me back up in the chat and see what's good. Give me a sec. Wow, really? At least I caught it with the quick fast. All right. So when it starts to talk about fighting, we're pretty much right here. And a brother asks, Tai Chi boot camp. We can do. We have it, brother. How effective is martial arts against MMA or street fighting? So, I'm speaking about foundationally Chinese Kung Fu. Now, with that being said, and I know Blue kind of warned me, but Blue, I apologize ahead of time. Got to be done, brother. There's been a lot of talk, and not only talk, but demonstration of Chinese Kung Fu not being effective. Traditional martial arts, especially Chinese Kung Fu, was all in the movies. Jet Li can't fight. Jackie can't fight. It was all just entertainment.
It was performative, yes.
Okay. Yes and no. I'm not going to mention Michael Jackson. I'll just use the initials. Right?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I really had, I got beside myself. We here. I got beside myself when Michael Jai White started talking reckless about Chinese martial arts.
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie. I'm a fan of my man's movies. I love Undisputed 2. I love Blood and Bone. You know, I just watched a compilation of his stuff. He's a talented brother. He may not be as old as me. I think he's like in his 50s still. I'm a little bit older than he is, but that's irrelevant. We're about the same size, and that was another thing. He boiled it all down to size and weight class. That's your world, bro, or at least what you focus on, and that's the MMA world. They always say, like, the classic thing is that, you know, Mayweather might be really, really good. Maybe some say he's the best, but he's not going to be able to beat Tyson. Not going to disagree with that, but that's the level that you're talking about. Now, like they say, there's levels to this shit. All right? That's not the be-all, end-all. And I wanted to put a little presentation together that I will do by tomorrow because I've been holding certain footage that will change your perspective of what is possible because they're hiding it from you. Now, let me give you some real history because to correct MJ, right? He was saying, oh, yeah, Shaolin martial arts, the Shaolin temple was burnt down, this and that. True. What you have is Chinese wushu performance art that the communist Chinese government created and killed off many families that held authentic skill sets. So those families that survived went underground. I know many of them. They do not surface. They do not fall for the okie doke. Because make it make sense. You know how things turn around and you say, wait up. I'm a critical thinker and I pay attention, right? So how is an MMA guy going to go to China, beat up a Chinese master in China? Y'all know how China get down, and he made it out? Not only that, China says, oh, we wish the true masters would come out and defend our honor. They're trying to wipe out the rest of them, my G. They're not going to come out.
Yeah, wasn't that the story back with Ip Man during the Chinese rebellion, the Boxer rebellion for that matter? Weren't they signaling and taking out different teachers of schools?
And that was not the communist revolution. That's
that wasn't even
that's the Manchurian thing. That and they had a lot of help. They fed them opium to get the masters like out of themselves. Then they introduced the guns. So one of my favorite movies, because I'm a Movie Monks is gonna be lit, y'all. Just be ready, right? I wasn't even thinking about the Chinese movie side of it. I'm just thinking about what we need to discuss for what's going on right now. But we're gonna have some fun as well with that. But one of my favorite Chinese movies is 18 Legendary Weapons with Lu Chai Lang. The whole Lu Chai Lang setup, Mad Monkey. That's I used to walk from school at 27th Street and 6th Avenue almost every class afterwards to motivate myself in my 20s and whatnot, and walk to 42nd Street and watch whatever was playing. I must have seen Mad Monkey 100 times because I just loved it. Monkey stays monkey. And my teacher, shout out Hector, my first instructor, junior instructor at the time under Chief Elder, who I was assigned to, was a monkey stylist. At least he wanted to be. Sorry, Hector, because Hector's 6'2" also. Monkey is not for big men like us.
Right.
We like it. It's fly, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, monkey. but it's not really for you. They do have a tall monkey style. There's 5 monkey styles. Start with Stone Monkey, which needs to be discussed because of the Monkey King and Goku. This is the same story. And I have proof. I have historical pictures that show the Yellow Emperor, and that is the Monkey King. So let's touch on that, because you really hit it now.
About to go get my Goku piece.
Chinese people. I got the receipts in this book called Chinese Mythologies.
I'm
they
listening,
have a picture
bro.
of Wang Di, which is the mythical Yellow Emperor. Now, okay, you really bringing me in now. Okay, I have the proof that the original 4 dynasties are not Han Chinese. They will tell you that all modern Chinese are descended from the Han Chinese, which take their lineage back to the Yellow Emperor, Wang Di. In a historical picture, like from museums, I can show you Wang Di as a scholar teaching this dude, and he got monkey feet. He is the Monkey King. Then in the Indian side, you have Hanuman, same story.
Yes, Hanuman.
And this story is many years old. So at what point do they enter the chat? Because they weren't in the chat. That's why they didn't show you. All right, I got to go in. I was a strange kid. And your mom's told me this. I have a recording with her and I speaking about the solstice, which I'm going to talk about, the equinox, which I'm going to talk about before this is over.
Yes.
And I used to watch Saturday morning cartoons for sure.
Yes.
But I also used to watch PBS. And she mentioned it, Echo, just a day ago. And I have the recording. That's the one I sent you. I sent you the recording. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to it. But I used to switch off and sometimes go watch a show called Tony Brown's Journal. None of y'all probably ever heard of that. But Tony Brown was a
literally, yeah.
You know who I'm talking about, B?
I was brought to his office in maybe 07, and I was negotiating with him to get his catalog. He wanted to get out the game at that time. Shout out to my brother Mateo, who brought me to meet the illustrious legend Tony Brown. Yes, I'm very familiar with his presentation. Shout out to Gil Nobles of the world. Shout out to the Tony Brown.
Yes. And I dropped the ball because at one point it was VHS tapes when I last checked. He had it open, and there's one episode. There's an episode with a brother called, I don't know if the brother's still around. I saw somebody say we love Tony Brown and so on. But shout out to him. If he's out there, please try to contact Blue, because I have especially one episode that I need to get that VHS tape of. And this was an episode with a brother called Khalid Al-Mansour. And that is who brought you Obama.
Yes. Familiar with Khalid Al-Mansour. Yes.
All right. Now, I would like to reiterate what I remember. My memory is very, very strong because of the way I've been trained. We were talking about that yesterday, your mom and I as well, that I was never allowed to write anything down. So I had to memorize. The same way I spit the salutation, I could spit all of them. I can show you the moves. Nothing's written down. It's all up here, which sharpens the synapses, fires the neurons, the brain cells, the connections between. Okay. So what I remember as a child was that he came on Tony Brown's Journal and he had a story to tell, Biggie Smalls. So what did he do? He said that as a child, his father was an emissary, so to speak, between, middleman between nations and whatnot, however he meant that. And he used to travel with his father as a child. And when he would travel, while his father was doing business, he would be playing with the children of the heads of states, the kings, the prime ministers, so on and so forth. So his connections got deep from that connect, from that experience. And he spoke about, and that's why I want to get it, because this is like probably 40 years ago plus, family. So if I do miss any details or I'm incorrect, please don't come for me too hard. But this is what I remember, which is why I want to get the tape or the DVD or whatever format it's in right now. But this is the story as I remember it. So take perception is reality, as you all well know. So this is my perception of what I remember. So I remember him saying that, and I'll how do you call it? I'll ad lib a little bit and fill in some blanks that I did for myself. So he had a very good friend in what I feel is Henry. Oh man, I forgot his name. The last emperor of China, Henry Pui. I forget how it's pronounced. But the last emperor of China, so to speak, was one of those children that he used to play with. So when the lineage was passed down to him, he got a call that said, "Yo, Puyi, right? Henry Puyi." So
father's favorite.
He's like,
yeah.
Say again. I'm sorry.
That was one of my father's favorite movies.
That was the last emperor movie with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is the finalization of that story, is that he got called in for a meeting with his friend, but his friend is now the guy. He's him, right? So he comes in and they were prepared, right? He's him. So they were prepared, and they backed him. They, the servants backed out, closing the door like you see in the movies and whatnot, and left him alone. And as soon as they were alone, his friend dropped to his knees, down to like almost kiss his feet. He's like, "Yo, what are you doing, my friend? Stand up." He's like, No. I must do this. Similar to what they tell you when a president comes in, they give him the book, and Obama's hair got white like within 6 months. You feel me?
No.
Huh?
They took Obama to the basement. He came up with white hair. He came out the elevator with the white hair, my genius. It ain't take 6 months. Whatever they showed him downstairs.
It was one day. It was like he went in the room and came out. It was Moses. He went to the mountaintop and came back with the tablets with the white hair.
It was just the reverse. They didn't take him to the mountaintop. They took him to the bottom. And when they brought him up, white hair. I'm listening.
I stand corrected. So now here we go. In that episode, he said to him, "I must do this." Then he took him into another room that was prepared and showed him artifacts, which he had pictures of in that show, that showed black clay statues with big lips, nose, and slanty eyes, talking about, "We come from you." Back then, I caught that at like, I don't know what age it was, what year they played it, but I wasn't watching. I might have been in my 20s, but that had me caught up.
Right.
And we'll leave it at that for that story. But where do you want to go with this, Blue? Because I know where to go. I heard from your moms as well that there's a double celestial event. That's why I wanted to start this at 12:12, which I think you did that, but I couldn't come on right away. And I can't wait to go back and listen to what you were saying. But we are told that the equinox is on the same day as the new moon, which is the 22nd. Well, the new moon cycle is really 3 days. And that's an important fact that I have to touch on with y'all eventually to show you why that is so important. Because the moon cycles are the so-called Sabbaths. Hard pause. We'll get back to that. So they're telling you the equinox is the 22nd, but what does equinox mean? And they're playing because 722 is a thing for me. I have a whole private group called 722 and Beyond, right? Mm-hmm. It's what I call logical pi, because there's two types of pies. They both start off with 3.14. All right, pause. Again, another one we'll get back to, but this part of it. So what does equinox mean? It means equal day, equal night, meaning 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night. Now, we need to stop asking ChatGPT shit, because this morning, your mom was a witness. It was like I was up early, doing my early thing, especially when I'm on this level of protocol. I don't need to sleep more than 2-3 hours to be lit. So that gives me a lot more time and energy to do things. So out of the blue, one of my phones, because I got like 4 phones right now, says, "Hey, Tigerr, what can I do for you? What can I help you with?" And I'm like, I've been through this before. Shout out Big Mike. I was at Big Mike's house when the AI said, "It's because you pay attention." Like it was in the room, like a conversation with us. Because I was showing Mike the echoes. I was showing Mike some heavy echoes. Shout out Aha. Shout out Johnny Handsome. Because we were doing a group meditation. And right after the group meditation, I was going to put, because Mike and I was going to watch Wolverine and Deadpool. So you know the timeline. It was like a year ago. And out of the blue, we hear one of my phones said, "It's because you're paying attention." I kid you not. So this joint jumped out on me this morning at like 5 in the morning. Your mom's came out her room to use the restroom. And before she went back in, she's like, "Who are you talking to?" And I'm like, "The AI, Mom." It was Microsoft Copilot, I believe, is the one that kicked in. Copilot. Right? And I'm about the twilights. This is the knowledge that I'm holding. I don't know anybody else that's holding the knowledge that I'm holding about the twilights. That's why I'm up so early, because this is heavy. But I won't go into that. Another hard pause. We're going to tell you what happened with the AI. So I asked the AI, and do remember my Earth Day, my solar return is May 18th, Haitian Flag Day. And I'm having an event in Miami for January 1st, and it's going to change everybody's perception. Hopefully, I trust, for good. Supposedly, we don't celebrate July 4th no more. Really? But January 1st is the one. Well, we went through a couple of years of that. Oh yeah, we're not celebrating July 4th no more. Blah 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 blah. And July 4th was crazy this year around me. But let's not touch that. The real one that we need to correct immediately, that has been given to me through echoes repeatedly for years, is January or December 31st, New Year's, so-called, has to stop now. And pause. Get back to the story. I want to keep it somewhat linear. Do remember, Kung Fu Man moves like a ball. So I'm all over the place, but it's structured for me and it's not for y'all. Or else I've been told to keep it linear. So I'm doing my best to do so. But I apologize for my lack of, accomplishment to the fullest. But getting back to what I'm saying to you, the AI, I asked it, when do the twilights begin? Because it was before, it was like 4 o'clock, something like that. It was barely 5. And it wasn't 5 yet, it was 4 and change. Oh, somebody just mentioned July 4th and Master Farad Muhammad. I want to tell y'all, I apologize again. Kung Fu Man has to deal with it as it comes up. So, and I'm more than a Kung Fu Man, but still, it's foundational. July 4th is 13 days into Cancer. What does that mean?
Talk about it.
Cancer, if you dig deep enough, you'll find out why are they using a crab? Why is it called Cancer? Cancer is the self-created one. So when you count from basically the solstice, because Cancer starts around June 22nd, you count 13 days in, you will see it's July 4th. That is a magical, ritualistic spell to create this entity called the United States of America with that birth date or birth chart. It's still a person, basically. Same characteristics that, your birth chart affects real astrology, if you're going to look at it, affects you, your behavior, your characteristics, so on and so forth. I'm talking to the choir here because y'all know, if these things, you should know that the real one, the real stuff, and you have to adjust for the changes. That's why for us in CMC, it is still 2017 CE. In Ethiopia, it's already 2018 because their New Year's September 11th. We're in the so-called Western Hemisphere. I still, and I'll show you, you know what? I'm going to drop a heavy one on y'all. Capricorn. All right. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to handle this, you Capricorns out there. What is Capricorn? B, what's Capricorn? What is the symbol for Capricorn?
It is a seahorse or a.
It should be. It should be.
Right, it should
Anybody
be,
else in the chat? You're almost there. It should be a seahorse. They changed it. A sea goat. What the heck?
Yes.
And we have to give acknowledgement, and that's a serious word, to the higher selves, because we keep repeating the word goat and we think it's organic. It's not. We're trying to give ourselves a clue as to why we need to look at this daggone goat that they keep putting in your face. And I'm not talking about LeBron. I'm talking about that Baphomet.
Here, Capricorn too, though. I'm listening.
And that Capricorn. Because that is a spell you're under. It's a spell of time. It's an imprisonment in artificial construct. Is exactly what they showed you in the Matrix. And the way out of it is the red pill, which I told you in the first part of this thing, is the blood moons, especially the ones 11 years ago. And the blue pill are the blue moons that put you to sleep, because a blue moon does not exist in reality. It's a construct. Chronos, somebody just said it, right? Yeah. Chronos, Saturn. The one who killed his father with the sickle, chopped off his, you know what, his family jewels. What do these symbolic stories mean? And then you have Zeus, i.e. Odin, i.e., come on, that comes and fights the Titans and imprisons them in the lower realms of Tartarus. I'm going to do a presentation to break all this down. Why? Okay, they gave you Thanos. There you go with the Kung Fu man all over the place again. Thanos, no, sir. It's much more than that, boy. But we'll get into it.
Stick to it.
Thanos, yes, Thanos. I just looked at the chat. Let me close the chat. So Thanos did a snap that killed half the people on the planet. And in the MCU, which is a different universe than the comics, which you should have as canon, he did it just on GP because it would be better for everybody if there's less people, blah, blah, blah. In the comics, he did it for Lady Death because he was simping for Lady Death.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he wanted to fill up her coffers.
Fill up her realm. Right. Fill up her realm with subjects, which is another representation of Hela, the daughter of Loki. All of it is relevant, but not right now to be unpacked, right? So what you're dealing with is a representation of a male nefarious being. Let's connect. Kronos, Saturn, always depicted as a man. But in the story, he swallows his children and holds them in his belly. What men do you know can do that? I'll wait. Here's more. Father Time. So they're leading you with the image of Father Time, which is also Kronos with the sickle. Father Time has a sickle. Kronos cut his dad's genitals off with a sickle. So subliminally, they're getting you to jump to that conclusion, right? Then they give you the Grim Reaper with the sickle again. But now your presumption is leading you to presume that the Grim Reaper is male because it's, you know, subliminally, that's also Father Time. But how can you tell male or female from a skeleton? Isn't it a skeleton in a robe? Pause.
There won't be no BBLs on that. It's just flat.
I'm done. This dude. Stop it. I'm trying to be serious here. So.
No, I mean,
all it is
really, again, just to add on and humorous, we could lighten the mode always by injecting some humor into it because they're playing games in our face. And because I research antiquity, I started studying primordial gods, and come to find out that Saturn initially was attributed to a feminine deity. It was Saturn coincided with Set, and Osar was Jupiter.
Wow.
So
Okay.
the keeper of time, a woman naturally keeps cycles, right? We don't have to count what the 14 plus 14 days are, or as you break them down through these moon cycles in 4 different ways. A woman naturally has that cycle, right? If her
Right.
cycle coincides, like I don't know if it's too much TMI, but it's interesting these observations. Like my lady cycle didn't normally come during the times, but this time it came around a blood moon, and she
Mm.
was, asking like, do you think because you magnetize so much energy around this particular moon by speaking about it that it affected her fields? These are
Very
interesting
possible.
questions and observations.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
again, when we think about it, right, because man loves replacing woman for the things that she has to do, but man has to count. He has to manually time keep, or he has to make an
Right.
observation in order to time keep, right? Hence the fact that
Everything
we
he
were
does.
stargazers and we observed planetary cycles because we were observing outside of ourselves. But a woman can time keep with her eyes closed, right? Naturally.
Hmm. Okay.
So, I mean, again, the family, they could look it up. In antiquity, right? Just like in antiquity, the sun was not was not a masculine deity or being. The sun also at one point was attributed to Osset,
May I interject?
of course.
Everything physical is feminine. Everything.
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 Yes.
And the way we will start breaking out of being in our feelings about this male female thing is by using magnetic and electric to replace masculine and feminine or male and female. The magnetic field gives the electricity its path in the science of electrical current. The
Mhm.
wrappings around the copper coil contain, but there's a magnetic field naturally around it that gives it and contains it, or else it would be scattered. That's how we as men, we know the woman holds the child, holds the semen, holds the egg. We let it out. We don't hold it. Anything. Thought is masculine. The physicality, period, is feminine. So of course, all the deities. When I teach, when people right now, I'm switching up, as you know, to more commercial things since I'm now coming out into the public. But before, I have hundreds of people take an oath. You know of the oath, to keep what I had been teaching them private, to not water it down. Now I'm coming out full blown. So there are things that I'm talking about that I only spoke for the last 25 years or more with Elder or my group called CMC Synergy, which is Calm Monks. Right? So with that being said, the oath for men, they testified that they would, you know this, B, but I'm going to share it with them. They testified on the family jewels, because testify was never about one hand on the Bible, another hand to God. You clutch your nuts.
Right. You grab the
You
jewels.
grab your the jewels and say, on my,
Right.
like they used to say, only
Right.
two
But
things, my word and my balls. I don't break them
don't
for
break
no
them for
one.
no one. Right.
Where
And
did that
these
come
are
from?
yeah, where did it come from?
This is where it came from, because testify means
Testes,
testicles.
yeah,
Exactly.
testes and testify etymologically are related because you would testify and you will put it on your testes, pause, to say, yeah, your manhood is riding on the validity of your word. You know what I'm saying? You only have those two and you can't break them. That's what
Correct.
you're bonded by.
Correct. And it goes even deeper than that, because you're really talking about your whole lineage. You're talking about, yo, my family jewels, I'm cursing my sons, my grandsons, my daughters, my whole lineage is what I'm testifying on. That's how serious it is. So I pulled that page, and of course the women can do that. So I pulled out something else. What did I pull out? I had them pick arm, leg, arm, or head as consideration, because proper contract has offer, acceptance, and what's called in law or civics consideration. It's not though I appreciate you. It means what are you putting up for what you want? So they would have to pick the women. The men would have to do both, testify and pick arm, leg, arm, head, and the women would have to, since they can't testify, what would they pick? Arm, leg, arm, or head. And once they would pick that, I'd give them the first lesson in CMC, which is Allah, which is what that is an anagram for. Allah is the body
Head,
in
right.
in CMC. Not to disrespect anybody else's belief of Allah and the Islamic religion, but for us, which we are non-denominational, we are not a disrespecter of any system, but we study it all. I have a very good friend of mine that facilitated what we're about to do at the end of the show and explain that I was explaining to them what I call the golden cipher that begins with Pisces, because the two fish in the allegory of the Sermon on the Mount, the two fish and the 5 loaves of bread, refers to Pisces. And I'm going to do a bigger lecture with detail and visuals about that.
Yeah.
I mentioned it, but I didn't explain it. Go ahead, Pete.
I don't know if you got to the point of my dissertation this past Sunday, but we are literally in the throes of the Sermon of the Mount in biblical lore. In accordance, like I said, the way that I teach according to the Gregorian calendar as it was set. So that narrative of the the feeding of the fish and the loaves and what have you, it falls to the time that we're in right now on these days of 9. What's today? The 15th or the 16th? Just trying to find
the
out what
16th. They say it's the 16th, but it's really the 24th day. It's the 24th day. That's why the new moon is starting in a week. Right, the end of the month comes before the Gregorian end of the month.
So it's an echo. Again, you've been speaking on it. You've been pulling it up. You've been talking about it at length, and we're actually going over it. And again, that's my quiet confirmation, to my echoes to say, yeah, I do hear what you're saying. And, for it to coincide and overlap with scripture's a program too. Scripture's a construct too. This is not a natural occurrence.
Very heavy one.
Right. Yeah,
later,
very heavy one.
Definitely higher intelligence that laid these things down until a certain time could not be unlocked. That's what they told you, and that's true.
So I'll say it real quick, and then we can continue and move on. And someone asked a good question in the chat. But today specifically, which will register as 9:16, if you go to Luke, it says, taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, looking up to heaven, Jesus spoke a blessing and broke them. Then he gave them to the disciples to set before the people. So you've been working to get to this place where you want to break down the Sermon on the Mount. And I'm just saying, we are literally in the throes of it. We've been in the throes of it for the past few days. It would be.
It started on the blood moon.
Yeah, they're utilizing they're utilizing this time, for lack of a better term, to create a new Christos. You know what I'm saying? To not only martyr this individuals with the initial CK, because it flips. It's not just CK. People don't understand that the etymology of Kirk is church. So you got two C's, right?
Okay.
The double C's, you got them 33s, right?
Mm.
I could go there and they's like, oh, they got the hats. They had 3 hats on the table with 47. Once again, equaling 11. And then they added them up and said it's 33. They said it took 33 hours to find a suspect. But the initials is CK, which is 3 and which is 11. And you get 14, which is his born day, right? The same day as George Floyd, a month from my born day. But if you do 3 times 11, you get 33. So he is a quote unquote, they will attempt to proselytize this individual and not just martyr him, but utilize him, as a Christos figure for their crusade. Then you had Crawford and Canelo, you had another 2C on Saturday. So the 33 energy, the echo is super heavy and is vibrating. And again, in the Virgo or the Virgin who gives birth to the Christos, what better time to do it? Anchoring and harboring, like you said, I feel that this 722, which they call 922, is going to be very interesting.
It's
that's
so
my
beautiful,
anniversary.
bro.
Yeah, when we went to the pyramid in 2012 on 922. So I always hold that day sacred. And we came back on my father's born day, which was the 27th. I know you got some sauce for that too. September 27th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and then shout out to my guy King Tut. So then you got the mirror. You got King Charles, which is the KC, born on our born day, right? November 14th. So you got the King Charles reunion with his son, right? The father and the son motif, right? Echoing, stoking the flames of this religious motif that we're witnessing in real life.
So much to unpack. So much to unpack.
So much. And yeah, hence the fact that go ahead.
I was saying he ended it with the God of War, right? God of War is Aries, right?
Mm-hmm.
God of War is Aries, right?
Well,
so
yeah, God of War is Aries. To me, God of War is Jehovah, but
no, yeah, I understand. But what I'm saying is also they're coming out with Tron Aries, and they're now in the real world. Bruh, you need to Google that trailer. Bruh, it's about to drop. It's dropping in October, because I knew about it since like early summer or late spring. And I was like, damn, October, we got to wait till October. When I watched the trailer, they're in the real world, bro. They got the light cycles in the trailer going through like the real world.
Wow.
Pause. Right? Now, let me get back to the goat. So is Aries a goat? Is the ram a goat? Because most people think
the ram. No, the ram Aries is a male sheep.
It's a male sheep. Now, I don't want to get you banned, so I'm going to say JC, who's the good shepherd, is always tending the flock. Do you ever see a ram in the flock? Or is it only women and children that he's...
No. Yeah, you never see the ram.
Because the ram ain't having it. He's butting this. Who is this white boy? Bam!
The ram ain't having it.
Get off the mountain.
Yeah, get off the mountain. Get off.
Right? But what they're banking on is that we do not know the difference between a ram and a goat. That's why they're banking on Capricorn. That's how they got away with it. Capricorn is a sea goat, which is a symbolization of Pisces and Aries, but we think that the Aries is a goat. That's how they replaced March and April with January, with Janus. It's a destiny swap. Pause.
Hold on, Red. You want
gift to the family?
I need the bomb. I need the bomb.
Gift from CMC to the family. Ring the
the proverbial bomb. Went off.
Bro, and there's more. So much more. So much more. It's spelled. They spelled it. They spelled it a little different. They spelled it Ares instead of IS. IES. They left out the I. They left out the I.
They do that. They left the I out. Y'all could also go to. There's an amazing show on Netflix. It's a series, and it's also called Ares, ARES, and it deals with a secret society and a cult, fraternal organization, and the deity or the entity that they're paying homage to, and that is a melanated entity. It's like the Venom Gook. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, all you see is black and red. When you see the trailer, all you're gonna see is black and red. And it's spelled exactly the same way you just spelled it.
Yes.
Same way. So same entity. Similar to Rain Man. I want to go there eventually so bad. Since we're hip hop heads, right? I got it. May I segue just a little bit?
Of course.
Back in the day, let's go Fade to Black album. You know? Jigga. If you watch the Fade to Black album, there's certain parts that I'm gonna bring up right now. When Jay walked into the studio with Kanye, they were playing Lucifer. Lucifer's on in the morning, right? So he's coming in bopping with his team, blah, blah, blah. Ye is at the board. And then the if I'm remembering correctly, the verse was, and the meek shall inherit the earth, but until that time it's on and popping. Church, Lucifer, Lucifer, right? He comes to the camera, he says, I never cracked the Bible open in my life. How I know that? And stepped off. Now, what they showed you next was him going in the booth, and they asked him, how do you do it? Because, you know, he does that one take, never writes anything down, does one take. How do you do it? And his comment was, I just opened the door and let Rain Man in. Your face is crazy right now.
yeah. I mean, you know, that now you're taking me back. Because this is a throwback. You're taking me back in the days. Hold on. Damn. Maybe having all these military planes over here.
Shout out N1 Play Umbrella.
Yeah,
that's the next segue.
I was about to say this is when Lennon Honor.
Correct. Shout out Lennon Honor.
He was doing Umbrella Break before he was on Umar's Helmet. Pause. He was doing the music video breakdowns, and he did an extensive one on Umbrella. And
part 27,
Rain Man is
part
back.
27, part 27.
Where you at? Yeah, right.
Part 27 is where he showed you the entity when he said it's anatomically impossible for her to assume this position. Added the eyes, and you saw the demon. Right? Remember that?
Yes.
That was the big reveal.
He was unpacking. He was breaking them down with the Rain Man. So yeah. I remember that.
Back in the day. Something. You and I are both born and raised in this hip hop, right? In what possible dimension is it all right for an MC to carry another MC's name without it being a major problem in a battle? Please tell me, Blue. Never that. So I was paying attention. Remember, they say I'm the one that pays attention, right? How was Jay Rain Man? Lil Wayne was claiming to be Rain Man, and Eminem was claiming to be Rain Man at the same time. Sip my formula. I love it so much. I be drinking it like juice. Huh? How?
I literally heard a Eminem verse the other day. He was on JID's probably album, and he was in his Rain Man bag. Yep. I just heard it.
And Lil Wayne. So I don't know how far you want to go down the rabbit hole with that one, but that's not acceptable. Unacceptable. Never that. it's going to be a problem.
It would be back in the days.
So what was really going on? Who's Rain Man? But there was another chick also, Orange Moon. Used to have incredible videos. She broke down Kanye's some elephant something. Fire. That was definitely material, you know. And again, shout out Lennon Honor. I believe I know what happened because I've seen it happen before.
Shout out to Lennon.
The men, shout out to Lennon. You know,
I gotta get him back.
You had to take that contract, sir. Sorry, you had to accept that deal, sir.
I ain't gonna touch
but
that.
We love you for what you've done, because when you said you're gonna give us our vision back, it happened. When you came out with those cardboard and said, I'm about to give you a vision back, I thank you, because character continuation is a thing. For real. You did that. You put that out.
He did a phenomenal show with us on KTL many moons ago, more than a decade ago. And then he was speaking about the psychological effects of 9/11. And shout out to Baba Dr. Phil Valentine. He spoke about the cracking of the cosmic egg, right? And then Leonard Honor took that and elaborated on it and went a little bit deeper in the cracking of the cosmic egg. And I bring that up because there's a similar occurrence. What we saw on 9/10 was 9/11 2.0. And what I mean by that is there's very few events that we got to see as an event horizon collectively at the same time, and then watch it on loop on TV over and over and over again. The very first time that happened was 9/11. And what it did is it created a crack in our cosmic consciousness. The egg that contains us, that envelopes us, there was a crack in it because of the fear program, of course, and the psychological import that if, let's say, I'm different because I was at battle with these folks during that time in their courtrooms. But let's say that you were somebody that was a citizen that has invested interest in this country, right? Because you are pledging allegiance in exchange for security, right? So you are tethered to this country, and you are a God-fearing, loving patriot because this country is responsible for your security. You are indebted to this country because they provide security. So when you see that the country cannot secure themselves, that creates a schism, right? And then when the psychological trauma that is induced by you seeing the towers get hit and come down, whether you want to admit it or not, psychologically, every single time that you saw it, it triggered that level of fear, and it induced this feeling inside of you that you are not safe, or you're not being protected by the people who you have given, right, permission to provide you protection. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That particular exchange, right, putting them through the cleaners every single year, reminding them, is making the egg further and further. And what oozes out of the egg? Consciousness. What oozes out of the egg? Rationale. What oozes out of the egg? Reasoning. So this has been a prolonged, protracted program to break down people psychologically, the illest psyops ever. And then a day before the 24th anniversary of it, right, in the shadow of a blood moon, on the tails of these other tetrad 4 blood moons. And I say that because, again, my elaborate observation, my elaborate research and dedication to the tetrad blood moons of 2014 to 2015, I'm seeing the people who prepared for it and who spoke to it. I'm seeing the results of it benefit them, because this is exactly what they wanted. They wanted to harness the cosmic energy to do what they're doing over there right now. And they said it. They were open about it. They said, yeah, we need this for the final thrust to get rid of our enemies, to vanquish them, to get them off of the earth. So they're doing that. And then they're setting plays for the next 6 to 8 to 10 years by consecrating a mass ritual on the day before the celebration for them of one of their other mass rituals. So the cracking of the cosmic egg and the oozing of consciousness out of it, right, by fear psyops, right, is something that people really need to be mindful of and not dismissive, because we all asking, why is mental health such an issue in society, not just in our community, but society? You feel me? People have no idea what they've been exposed to. They have no idea the little bit of the tinkering. You know, you hitting an egg like this, just slowly, and that egg is cracking and things are oozing out of it. And yeah, you know, we need to be triaged as a people, but you gotta recognize that you're bleeding first in order to stop the bleeding. You feel me? They
Yeah,
want to know what's in
I'm
the
trying to get my weight
they,
up. I'm trying to get.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna
they want
touch
to
on
make
that.
sure you're
But
not sipping something. Yeah,
that's my formula that I've come up with for over
right.
30 years.
Nobody
That's
want to
what
be left out of the sip. They like, pass that. What we doing? No.
I'm gonna give. I actually am donating. That's what I said the last time. That's one of the main things that I would give. Actually, I had a young lady come by us in Miami to pick up 5 days worth. You only drink that, and
Right. Well,
it
you might want
allows
to
you.
reiterate that. You in front of a new
Well,
audience. It's a new time. So tell them what
okay.
you, if
So
you
I
still have
wanted
it
to
available.
extend it.
Yeah.
I wanted to extend it because I had opened up 7 spots for me to gift my program, my formula, CMC Synergy for Health, to the public, which is how I maintain being 62 years old. You guys need to go to my IG. I got a challenge for myself coming up on the solstice. Now we're 3 months away, right? Because we're having the equinox this month. So I'm a little over 3 months to get my assignment done, and it's a pretty heavy assignment. I got an aesthetic, appearance, physical appearance assignment. That's lightweight. I've done that many times. But the physical challenge is a little hard because I'm duplicating a routine done by like a 5 foot tall Chinese dude with a lot of fast kicks and acrobatics, and I'm 62. So it should be impressive.
62 and 62, right?
Yeah, 62, 62. Yeah, 88. 88, bro. I told you level 88. Thank you. Right? And I'll say it again. Blue is the grand master of the law of 44. We codify 44 within my system. Right? But I'm bringing him in. I'm trying to get him down to Miami before we leave out of here, because we got to leave this particular residence so they can fix the roof, and we'll be back hopefully January 1st. I'm actually negotiating that contract right now because we do Airbnbs here. This is one of the Airbnb units. So I could tell them that, Blue, because we won't be here. So, no ops is showing up. And then don't come through, ops. We're ready for you. Don't come through. All right. Anyway, I'm just tripping. But I did address something in here. Somebody said, what does Rain Man symbolize? He symbolizes the idiot savant who automatically has the knowledge. That's what they're giving you. I don't need to write it down, memorize it. I just let Rain Man do it because that's the idiot savant. Pause. I'll give you a bonus. I'm just I'm just bursting at the seams today, right? Maybe it's the 1.2 million IU of vitamin D that we're on. Don't ask yet, but you'll find out. Right? That's another part of my protocols, and I'll show you what that has done. But remember they took away the I out of Aries, right? So I'm gonna show you, if I put the I back in Jesus, what happens. Wait for it. So let's spell Jesus like this: JESU. After you, what do they say? It's you and I, right? You and I, you and I, you and I. right? So add that I. Jesuis. What does that spell? Maybe then you'll know. Jesuit is one of them. Now you got to go to different languages. Thankfully, I'm a polyglot. I speak multiple languages. I speak French first. I speak Chinese now. After I studied for many years when I was in my 30s, so I could speak to the grandmasters in Chinatown. Right.
Right.
So, ni hao ma. Here we go. Jesu. Just Google it. Anybody that's in the chat, Google Jesuis. What does that spell? It's going to tell you. Remember, we talked about Moses before with you with the white hair. Watch the echo, right? So when Moses went up to the mountaintop in the 10 Commandments and he asked that burning bush, what is your name? The burning bush was supposed to represent the Most High, God, right?
Yes.
What was the answer? What was the answer, Blue? Do you remember? Don't make me pull out Fire Marshal Bill. See, I'm doing the old man references now. I'll be joking with Madison about that.
Oh,
let me tell you something.
I am that I am. Right.
I am that I am. So when you add back I into Jesus and you realize that you are the Christ, because Christ means black in Sanskrit, that's where they get Krishna from.
Krishna, right.
Dark blue or black that absorbs all light, the attractive one. Come on, stop playing with us, man. We here, right? We here. We're here because we don't have no more time to play.
So in French, to be clear with the family that might be in the audience that didn't get in their Google, in the French spelling, Jesuis, S-U-I-S.
It's actually pronounced je suis. Je suis.
Je suis.
I. Je suis. Means I am.
Suis. Right. It means I am. Right. The I am.
I am. So
which
you
is,
and I.
Right. Which is literally
in plain sight.
The meaning and the motif of Aries. Right. Aries is I am. It's the self.
It's the head of the. Right? It's the head.
Where the eyes exist. Yeah.
But they want to make the reverse happen. So when you have to understand that the goat head represents the feminine reproductive system, which is revered, should be. It is the throne, like I always say. We are the crown. The males have to have knowledge of self to be able to illuminate the crown. The females are automatically that. They are Rain Man. They are savant. Automatically. Their body knows what to do. Your body, you have to pull the sword out of the stone, like I said in the first lecture, which is Excalibur, and the stone is the sacrum, the sacred bone, and the sword is your spine. When you can elevate the energy using the Qigongs that I've been taught up the spine, it illuminates the crown. And you have to know what time of the month is your time. In CMC, we've coined it to be your exclamation point. It's not a period. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've had many women when I upgraded that same thing I was drinking, right? Done. When I upgraded that in 2019, in August of 2019, which was another aligned month, August 2019 aligned with real time, Gregorian time and real time. So the 15th day of August was the full moon. The full moon is always on the 15th in real time. Shout out Farah. Farah was born on August 15th. She was part of my group. I did rituals the same way I showed you yesterday. I time travel, right? So I had one student in Hawaii, other students in Cali, Atlanta, New York, down here in Florida, got them all on the phone. And when it was, I think it was midnight here, and the moon was rising exactly at midnight, it was sunset in Hawaii. 6-hour difference. It was phenomenal. Farah's birthday, she was part of the group. Ariel was in the group, right? The 222, the angelic alchemist, right? All of us were together, and I led them through ritual. Chief Elder joined out of respect, Shout out Chief Elder. So Farah did the cleanse, that same thing I was drinking, right after her birthday. Farah was married for 7 years without a child, trying to have a child. I have several women that have had children that I protect. You know, I shouted out Farah because Farah is so close to me and ain't nobody messing with her. I'll let y'all know now. Y'all could come with the death wish if you want. Anyway, shout out Yara. Hey, baby. So, Farah did the cleanse. Her cycle aligned with the lunar cycle and dropped to 3 days, which is what it's supposed to be. Right after that, she had Yara. Yara's now 5 years old. 6 years old now. No, 5 years old. Yara just turned 5. You understand? That's just one of the children that have been born, and they're super special. Super special.
Dope.
And we have to awaken them, help them awaken before 8. Because what is one last thing, Blue? I gotta add this.
Yeah.
What is Namblas? Namblas, I could play the videos now, but we're just gonna spit it. I could put it all in later if y'all want to see the proof. NAMBLA is the National Association of Man-Boy Love. Members Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, funded by George Soros. What is their slogan? Sex before 8, before it's too late. Why? I can tell you right now. The brain waves of our children change at 8 years old. That's why they can memorize 5 languages or learn 5 languages serendipitously up until 8. Then it becomes harder. Past life experiences, they remember, oh yeah, that guy killed me, hit me in the head with a shovel. I have documentaries that speak to this. Oh yeah, I used to live in that state. The mother and the father traveled to that state, go to the house. He says, yeah, the next door neighbor, he was jealous of me, hit me with a shovel, buried me in the back over there, dig up the bodies there with the shovel hit. Once they hit 8 or 9 years old, now they can't remember any of that.
Closes it off.
Alpha brain waves. We can get into it deeper at another time.
Yeah, the Jesuits had the same saying about, you got to catch them before 7. If they program them successfully, they're going to run on that program subconsciously, which operates 95% of their, their thing. So you got to catch them
nervous system.
Yeah, before a certain time frame, 7 and 8. Because we have 12 minutes left, I wanted you to delve
Well, let me
into...
let them know what we have for them right now then, because Chief Elder is at my school in New York right now. So anybody that's local to New York, this is what I put together for the family. Today, we have Chief Elder at my school. Today, on Thursday, and on Saturday are classes, right? I would like you guys to take advantage of the fact, and y'all don't know who Chief Elder is, so this is going to be extended because we didn't have enough time. This is the part that Paul was not cool with, because it's kind of half cooked, but it's necessary because of the timeline that I'm trying to catch with this 7th moon. This is the 7th moon. This is the head of the year, right? On the spiritual side, on the other side of the physical realm. That's why they call it Rosh Hashanah. They're trying to tell you it starts on September 22nd. They're off because it's not their ish. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you, you are in the 7th moon already. The 8th moon starts September 22nd. And this is not absolute proof, but when you count from 1 to 10 in Spanish, right, which is derived from Latin, Romance languages, Rome, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, September, 8, October, 8, 9, November, 9, 10, December, 10. Not to be used as absolute proof, but I can show you the whole, like they say, show your work, I didn't use a calculator. I am the calculator, right? So with that being said, that's why I'm pushing it and putting pressure right now so that we can catch this and then start the 8th month, which is really God. And I break that down too. The 7 is you. The 8 is the Most High.
Mhm.
Together you get the 6, which is the female. She's the perfection in the physical. Look at the shape of the number 6. We did not invent these numbers. We did not invent this time. It was given to us most likely by the Sumerians. Pause. But here's the knowledge, okay? The application. All right, so what I'm offering is this. There's class today, or at least a meet and greet. Anyone that wants to come down to the school can get the information from me and meet Chief Elder. And I will show you why in a presentation that I'll do tonight for everyone. But those who want to just come from the heart, come from your heart, follow the guidance of your inner mind, everything will be revealed to you. So you can come physically today. You can also get a link to a Zoom we're setting up. They should have set it up already. I told them 144. I wanted it set up. It's 202 right now. So you can see the class. If you can't make it there physically, you can also come in on Thursday. This is a special package for the family right now to accelerate this thing. You can come in on Thursday. You can come in on Friday, or you can just, if you're not in New York, you can watch it virtually completely this week, all 3 classes, and trust me, you're going to see what it is. My brother Merton is the one who's going to be presenting. Since I'm not in New York, I'm in Florida. You can also join my class in Miami on Sunday. So the package will give you access to everything. It's an all-access package, video or physical, face-to-face, meet and greet, and train. And you can train virtually. We've been doing it since COVID. That's why we ended up doing the virtual. Chief Elder put that together with help, and now we're set. We got that down pat. So the package is $100 tribute to Chief Elder, right? That's my gift. It's $100 tribute to start the ball rolling, and it gives you access today, Thursday, and this is also homage to back in the day because he ran Alan Lee's Chinese Kung Fu Wushu Tuesday, Thursday class from 6 to 8. That's how I met him on my 18th birthday, till all the way till he left, right? As well as the exhibitions, and I have some older footage that will let you see, especially the women. I want y'all to see the women because we train the women like the men, and the women are spectacular, right? So with that being said, that gives you that. If you want to come in, let's say you miss out on this, then it'll be $100, same price for the rest of the classes. So here you get more access. I also am preparing things for you, gifts, more gifts. The formula, I just want y'all to do it to feel and see what it will do. I have more protocols that I'm working out with Ariel that we're about to introduce. How am I taking 1,200,000 IU of vitamin D? Shouldn't I be dead? That's what they'll tell you. I healed my foot. I healed, my face was peeled like a grape. I have all the receipts. It healed in a day. Fully in a week. Blue seen everything, right, Blue?
Seen to it.
He seen to it. And I have more videos he hasn't seen because I was like, they're not going to believe this. They're not going to believe this. So I took more video where I'm rubbing my face to prove that it's not makeup. At this time, now, and that was 3 years ago. Now it's AI. So, you can't believe what you see. But that was back in 2022 when that happened to me. And what just happened last, while I'm giving my challenge to myself, I got hit off a scooter because I have a scooter business in Miami as well, and New York. I got hit off the scooter in Miami, broke my metatarsal on my foot and my wrist. And they told me I had to get a screw in my foot. I still have the x-rays and the MRIs. The gap was like this. It can never heal. My thing is that I feel it's an okie doke. We all grew up, well, not everybody, because I keep forgetting not everybody's as old as I am. You break your foot, you get a cast.
Huh? Remember that?
In 6 weeks, you stay off the foot. You on the crutches though. You ain't putting your foot down. No pressure on your foot. Your foot heals 6 weeks every time. Why is everybody getting screws? Because they got you in this boot like it's a new technology. One of my people said, "Oh, I thought the boot held your foot and put it back in place." No, it's for them to be able to get more money out of you. I wasn't put in the cast. I wasn't even put in the boot for a week. Then they gave me the boot. Another week went by. They took the MR and the X-ray. Oh, you know, you got a separation in your foot. You got to get the screw. $100,000, $40,000 for the anesthesia alone. That's the setup. They need to take vacations and pay for their kids' colleges and hit them insurance policies of y'all that y'all have. $100,000.
Damn.
I said, wrong finger, but I said, came to New York, got on my protocols, healed it in 6 months. Back on the floor. I got the videos when I just healed it. They couldn't believe it. They're like, who's this ninja?
Right. Exactly. So,
all right. So that's the pause.
We got about 4 minutes. I do want you to conclude and share with the family what you have pertaining to. I think that you mentioned the next moon is coming up, but I don't know if you finalized what you had to say and share on that.
Okay, the next moon is this Sunday, right? Let me double check. I believe it's Sunday. The deal with the next moon cycle is it's that it's a new moon cycle. In the Bible, it's called a high Sabbath. This is how everything was revealed to me at the age of 15. I'm from a religious family, very heavy religious family, Seventh Day. So my mom's never got her ears pierced, never wore lipstick, didn't wear pants till she came to, no, not that she didn't wear pants, she wore skirts. You know, don't be funny. Didn't wear, male clothing until she came to the United States. And I was very much in that since I was a child. My grandmother died at 108. She read the Bible from cover to cover every year. I spent my first 5 years of life with her, which is why I spoke French before English, because she only spoke French, right? Then I taught myself Haitian Creole. That's another story. But at the end of the day, she prayed, and that's why I was doing those manifestations with the brothers. She prayed 6 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m., right? So I used to study and stay with her till I went to school. And I know the Bible inside out. So there's a story in the Bible of Saul, David, from David and Goliath. More people know that, but they don't know Israel's first king was called Saul.
Saul,
right? Saul.
Yes, before David.
And Saul had started to chase after other gods, right? So it was decreed that we got to take him off the throne. We're going to put David on because David is, he's on point. He killed Goliath, blah, blah, blah. So Saul had a son called Jonathan, and in the scripture it says that Jonathan loved David more than women. Hard pause. I don't know. But that's not relevant to the story. Jonathan warned David not to come to the feast his father was having on the high Sabbath. So David decided to hide out in the forest for 3 days during the Sabbath, is what the text says.
Mm-hmm.
I've challenged rabbis up and down, pastors, and the sad thing about it is they don't even stick around to get the answer. They just like, you're a very intelligent young man. You should come to my church and, have you accepted Jesus? That's all they got to say instead of asking me how. Because it was a new moon. The new moon is 3 days. And there would be no light, so they wouldn't be able to find him. All you need to do is like climb a tree. There's no light. The moon is dark. It's the black moon. That's how I was shown this. That the moon phases are the true Sabbaths, and they are the seal of the chosen people. Anything else, you're not going to get the full downloads.
Well, brother, I definitely, once again, want to say thank you for an amazing presentation. a riveting, eye-opening, fast-paced, fun-packed, but informational dissertation, right? And I definitely, want you to conclude and just tell the people one last time, because you have made a lot of different overtures and offers to them. So I just want you to tell them what you got going on, how they can contact you for it, and what's up next.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys, I've got the URLs down packed, but they're not fully operational. So we're going to use IG. The health IG that I gave last time is CMC Charlie Mary Charlie S as in Sam, the number 4 health. CMC Synergy is my organization. It stands for Calm Monks Calculate. And the double C's, actually we're talking about the 33, is the lock, because I have a concept called Loki, one of my keys. 4 major keys in CMC. Anagrams, which I'm going to give you all a second IG, which I did my first public lesson of my private stuff on that during the Lions Gate last year. So it's been up for a year and it's not been publicized. That will explain to you anagrams and the true time of year. We are not, Ethiopia is correct, but it is not yet 2018 for us. There has not been an adjustment in the calendar because they did that in 525, which is literally 1500 years ago. So you have to account for adjustment. Also, they're in another part of the globe. So that part of the globe is between the Western or the Southern, Northern, Western, Eastern hemispheres. So it's a different time set. Like Australia, they're having their summer when we have our winter. Therefore, it's not incorrect to say September 11th. It's just depending on your location, which is not being taken into consideration. Right. Our year will start March, April. That's why they did Capricorn, because they're trying to usurp that position by making it a new time construct that traps you versus the opening, which is what the word April means in Latin and French. Avril, ouvert, open. Yeah. Avril. Hence April Fools, because if you're going to do that, right, you're an April Fool. If you don't want to do that, they used to say, but if you're doing that, you're the fool, right? Because you cannot turn a clown into a king, but a clown can turn a castle into a circus. So that's what we've done. Look around you. I'm waiting for 13 little midgets to come out a car any day now. All right. So with that being said, the second IG is Monk Calm. MONKCALM. Monk Calm. And you'll see the same logo as you see at my CMC Synergy for Health, the rising sun within the blue background. When you go there, you'll see, I'll make some references when you go there. I didn't put a lot of stuff up, but there's one public lesson where I teach about how to calculate and what happens. Like right now, you see it's 214. I just looked down at the time. Now we add this cipher, which is a 0. 0 is not a number. To 214, you have anagram 2014, which is where the blood moons start. 2014, not 2015. The blood moon ran from 2014 to 2015. This is real time. This is 9 echoes within the right now. It happens continually once you align. So here's another gift. These are the first 3 steps. And I'll make a video about this and put it on Moncom today. The first 3 steps of the divine process of 7 before 9, which I'll go into in the video, are acknowledge whatever you believe in. Not my business. If you're Sufi, Christian, whatever you are, agnostic, your business. Acknowledge whatever you feel helps you and facilitates you, because the more you acknowledge it, the more it's going to happen for you. Right? Acknowledge, ask, I'll get back to that. That's the key in the middle. Whenever you have three things, CMC's principle, the fourth principle is low key. That the key is in the lock. The key would be the middle one. The middle one. I don't want to put the finger up. The middle one is the key. So C is part of one lock. When you have a padlock and it's locked, can you tell which side opens? You can't. They look identical. Right? So the two, you have to balance. There's advanced level. I'm giving you a basic concept level. CMC. The lock would be the double C's or the 33 if you convert it to numbers. And the key would be the M in the middle, which is the 13th letter. Not coincidentally. CMC, low key would be 33-4. Total, 1 in the cipher, which is power. The power symbol is a 1 inside of a circle. 1 in the cipher is power, on, off. On, ON gives you 5, 6, 11, opens the door. Off, 6, 6, 6. I will also put up a video there of 666 and what one of the next things that you need to know it means. And the bigger level, there's a video there with a Batman with you're gonna see a tiger in a blue, and it's gonna have Batman speaking initially. That is about the twilights, and I will break that down. That's not really a teaching video, it's just a vibe video to explain. All right, we good?
Yes.
So those are the two links. CMC, S for health, and Monk Calm, IG.
Write that down. Monk Calm. All right, family. Please go and follow our good brother Tap In. Again, he has made a numerous amount of amazing offers. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing left is for you to follow through. He comes bearing gifts every single time. So we want to say thank you for honoring his house, honoring his platform. Again, bringing unprecedented, priceless information, stirring the noodles so the people can think different in these days and times that's needed and necessary for the neuroplasticity. You know, I always want to wake up and hear something new, you know, for my brain health. Like, let me stretch the parameters of this mind of mine. So once again, I want to say thank you. All right. And we will shortly.
I am also grateful, brother. Very grateful. But application, we got to apply. We have to apply.
That part. All right, y'all.
All right, family. Tiger, one heart.
Niggas in crypto, diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist smoke, you stay up at dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck so. Every player gets snipped nose, acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at Listos, causing chaos and play up Calypso. I paused in kitchens and caused addictions. I paused prescriptions and caused inflictions. Lil Bixby playing in stores and bricks and on the dark web. You gotta pause every doors, cause encryption. Tesla engines, pause the pistons. I seen every floor I leave sore and listing. For that action, they sponsored the Bronson. They was hooked on that shit like Johnson and Johnson. That freeway, Ricky Ross, straight out of Compton, straight out of Bumpton. Red on blue, violence in the land. The projection of the will, the perfection of the kill, the reflection of the pills. I'm a frontline soldier, I'm no doja. These crystals not for focus. Niggas in crypto, diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist smoke, you stay up and dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck so. Every player gets lips now, acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at Pistols, causing chaos and play up Calypso. Hickory dickory down, hit a lick, put the sticky in the box. When the blicky get hot, lick off a shot. Heavy in the meadow, we slip off a knot. Heavy in the ghetto, they crib walk a lot. Crib walk the crypto, lift off the stocks.
Drips off the crystal and pots, disco rods in the blocks on my chain from the crystal shop. In the light air, lift off the rock. Toe Virgil right chain on my block, white paint on my socks, white paint on my socks. Hickory dickory dock, hit the lick, put the sticky in the box. When the blicky get hot, lick off a shot, we lick off a shot. Pay us in crypto, diamonds is dancing like they up in discos. You niggas in fist smoke, you stay up and dip low. You niggas stay up and get low, heard you way up in Frisco. If you say what they Hicks-Os, every player gets snips now. Acting gay up in Cisco, like take the day off and play up in pistols, causing chaos and play up Calypso.